Stomp on the ground, jump, 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 stomp on the ground, da 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 da. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling blogger who always tells it like it is. Well, I guess they couldn't retain the rights to the name Great Balls of Fire, so they had to go with an even more lame name for the event. You know, for a company whose stock is supposedly on the rise, they seem to be skimping on the pay-per-views as well, right? A few years ago it was 20. It'll probably be back to 12 in a couple more years. Well, whatever. 2 main men title matches, 2 women's title matches, the 3 other title matches, and a few revenge-laden battles should hold us until Extreme Rules. Here are my official, unofficial, official predictions for Stomping Grounds. Cruiserweight title triple threat match. Tony Nese defends against Akira Tozawa and Drew Gulak. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for Gulak finally getting his hands on some gold. I mean, he's been a great competitor on 205 Live for a long time now. And don't count the Stamina Monster out either, even though the only title he's ever had came thanks to Titus World Slide. But I don't think Nese has worn out his welcome with the purple belt yet. And besides, I don't want him to become like Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander before him. Promoted to the main rosters and quickly forgotten. My heart wants Gulak to win, but I'm picking Nese to retain for now. Xavier Woods and Big E of the New Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Okay, can we please get these two on the same brand? All this wildcard stuff between them is making me nauseous. These two belong together like fries and gravy on poutine, or whatever. I dare say they'd make a good run at either tag team titles if a trade can be made. As for the New Day, well, they're still entertaining, but ironically, the New Day is getting old. Not saying Big E will turn at this point, maybe by SummerSlam if not before, but let's face it. Without Kofi by their side, they're just not that great. All KO and Zayn need are each other. Owens and Zayn for the win. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. Look at it how you will, but this is a 5-on-1, provided Shane McMahon, The Revival, and Elias are at ringside. I'm not saying the ref won't usher them out at some point, but by then the damage will be done. Drew has been tearing up the roster since returning from his stint in TNA Impact. He's not called the Scottish Psychopath for shiggles, you know. Sure, Roman has been slow getting up to speed, but that's only because he was Superman punching cancer for a number of months. Despite how the big dog still has some bite, it's not big enough of a maw to handle a pack of wild mutts and one British boot to the head. Drew McIntyre wins. SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus Heavy Machinery. You know, I worry about Bryan. No, really, I feel he and Rowan grabbed the titles a bit too soon after Bryan lost the WWE Championship. I've seen this before. A superstar literally becomes nothing unless he has a title. Brock Lesnar is a prime example of this. Unless he can win a title on a big stage like, say, SummerSlam, he's of no use in the WWE. I fear Bryan is at that stage, and if Otis and Tucker win, Bryan's going to be a shell of his former self and will drag Rowan down with him. And ever since Luke Harper left, Rowan has been hanging by a thread here in the WWE himself, so he can't afford to lose the titles either. But I think it's still too soon for Heavy Machinery to hold gold. Maybe by SummerSlam, but not just yet. It'll be a great match, but I'm picking Bryan and Rowan to retain. United States Championship. Samoa Joe defends against Ricochet. Speaking of someone who feels he's nothing without a title, yeah, Rey Mysterio might have finagled the belt away from him at Money in the Bank, but there was no need to beat the unholy hell out of Rey after the match. And now Joe has another cruiserweight to deal with in Ricochet. I was rather hoping it would have been Braun Strowman, but I admit, ever since Ricochet broke from Aleister Black, he's been on a roll. But why do I feel that if he wins, this will be his one and only title in the WWE? Oh well. Since this is essentially a continuation of the Mysterio-Joe feud with Ricochet in Rey's place, why should the result be any different? I say Ricochet manages to win the title, and then Joe clobbers him afterwards. Raw Women's title rematch. Becky Lynch against Lacey Evans. Okay, so Lacey has proven to me that she's more than a Southern belle who does her title turn on the catwalk. Her little turn on the catwalk. Walkway aisle. She is a former Marine, after all, and she's shown that kind of tenacity in her recent matches. And with Big Show essentially out of the ring for good, we need someone with a wicked right hook to be the new one-punch person of the WWE. However, even though Lacey is directly responsible for Lynch no longer being Becky Two Belts, she has woken the absolute ire of the man. This is the girl who made Ronda Rousey lose and leave to try to get pregnant, after all. Lacey may have the women's right, but Becky will hit her with so many rights, she'll be begging for a left. Winner and still champion, Becky Lynch. SmackDown Women's title. Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. Okay, I'm sure you're thinking I'm giving Bayley the automatic win because Bliss is a Raw superstar and it's no good for her to be a SmackDown champ. Not true, though. With the wild card, Bliss can show up on SmackDown Live whenever she wants, or at worst, she'll just be moved over to the SmackDown roster if she wins the title, and probably drag Nikki Cross with her. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about that. I like seeing Bayley with the title, although, again, seems almost a bit too soon after losing the women's tag titles. Bliss has been battling a concussion over the last few months. Hell, she had to give up her Money in the Bank spot because of it. Ring rust will so be a factor in this. And Nikki won't help. And if she does, it'll probably be to Bliss's detriment. So Bayley will remain the champ. Universal title rematch. Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin. I'm getting a little confused here. Does Rollins put butts in the seats or just embed seats into butts now? It seems the former architect of the Shield has devolved into a poor man's Edge, doing everything short of a one-man concerto. But he has no real allies in this bout. Not that Corbin's Mr. Popular lately either. But the only reason Corbin lost is because he felt the ref disrespected him. To which I answer, Baron, you are not in charge anymore. You can't order refs around like you used to. And no matter which ref you suddenly spring on us, Seth has a steel chair with their name embossed on it. And when that ref is out, and before a replacement arrives, he's going to make you grateful that blows to the head are no longer allowed. Seth Rollins holds on to the title, and Brock Lesnar is nowhere to be seen. Finally, the WWE Championship rematch inside a steel cage. Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler. Okay, Ziggs has a point. If not for Xavier Woods, the chances of Kofi still being champ after Super ShowDown dropped significantly. Hence the steel chain link fencing around them for this match. Oh, sure, Xavier and Big E could still interfere. I mean, no DQ after all. But after the brawl with KO and Zayn, they may not be able. They may not have enough in the tank to help sufficiently. But Kofi has a point too. He came that close to winning the WWE title at Elimination Chamber. And unlike Dolph, Kofi's actually won a chamber match. Though it was with his New Day compadres. But once you've taken the then WWE champ to the limits in a chamber, having a smaller version is a cakewalk by comparison. And that's just how Kofi will treat this match, and just how he'll win it too. Even if Xavier and Big E can't contribute like they'd hope. Oh, and one more thing. I'm predicting the 24/7 title will change hands at least twice. But R-Truth will still leave with that hideous green belt clutched in his hands. Man, I'm starting to become a fan. Assuming. Those are my picks. Let's hope I stomp a mud hole in them and walk it dry. I'll be off for the next 2 weeks because I'll be out of town. Like way out of town. Like Portugal out of town. So I'll catch you later. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling blogger who always tells it like it is. See ya.